to do anything for GodPunch, and even if that means getting thrown out of an enemy, you know. But yeah, we just willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, nice one. I was gonna ask, what would you say is the most challenging part that you've had in creating it for both of you? What's the most difficult part and the biggest obstacles you've had?
As far as creating goes,
Yeah, creating and
what?
putting it out there, promoting the whole
Okay,
thing.
okay.
Even before
Um,
starting. Yeah.
Yeah,
um, as far as creating it, it was developing. It's probably developing the art. And the reason that was so hard is because like I want to tell a story, but I want my story to make sense, And so it's taking all of these big ideas that I have and putting them into the right places, and then after that, having the little small stuff that leads up to it, so it can make sense, so you can build up the anticipation and the climax of the arc, and then doing your world building to make it all connect and make sense in the end once we finally wrap up. So I think as far as the creative process goes, like that might be the most challenging part. Even though I do have an end now. We got all the art snipped out, all that good stuff. Um, as far as the overall brand, it's just trying to get the brand out there more. Getting more exposure. Getting more people to want to read it, getting more people to see it. Just trying to get your foot in the door. In the entertainment industry.
yeah.
I think that's the most challenging part because you know I I always I'm sorry, I got a phone call. Um
That's cool.
I always say I look at the rap industry, right? And I say to myself like it's hard to get into the rap industry for people because it's so oversaturated. You got too many people trying to do the same thing.
Mm,
But it's difficult trying to do what we're trying to do because there aren't many people doing it at all.
mm.
I kind of relate to that because on one end you got too many people trying to do it, on the other end no one's really doing it, and so people are afraid to take a risk on you because they either don't really know what it is or they don't believe.
Mm.
So I think that's the part is just trying to earn a name for yourself, and it's trying
Yeah.
to make people believe that you're serious about this and that you could really do this.
That's what I'm glad you mentioned that because one thing I ever spoke about with LS, shout out for LS with Shade of Red. He because when we were
That's
speaking,
family right there. I love Ellis. I love Ellis.
literally
That's
man,
family.
Good dude.
literally man, that's my guy. But one thing that we spoke about as well, and I'm glad you mentioned this, is that because for us where we are speaking with him in this country in the UK where we're from, like when you want to start everything, everything's oversaturated because we're such a small country. Like you can't drive 30 minutes down the road and like see
God
anybody.
knows.
Like everyone in this country knows everybody. Like everybody knows
Everyone
everybody.
knows
Everybody's
anyone
doing
that
everything.
knows anyone. It's how
You
it
see,
works.
where you are, it's like you can be in one state and another state is like a whole different country. So it's like when you mentioned oversaturation, one thing I wanted to ask you is like, because one of the things that LS mentioned to me is that one of the main difficulties he had is that he had the idea in his head, but actually having the jump to start it was a problem. So for you, did even though it's rare for everybody to do what you're doing in the United States and anywhere in the Western society in general, because you're always going to stand out if you create a manga, especially being black. But did you ever have that fear of oversaturation or it's not going to stand out in your mind when it was an idea? Because you said you started writing it in 2018, but I'm
Yeah.
guessing obviously it started to come out in 2020. Am I right?
We dropped the first
So
chapter in 2019.
2019, cool. So there's a time gap. So was there between the time gap? Was there ever a problem of when you first had it, it was just stuck as an idea, but you didn't know how to implement it because maybe it's a thing where it you weren't sure of how it would be how the response would be, or maybe you would feel like it doesn't stand out. Was there ever that issue at all in trying to make it sure that
Um,
it stands out and you're unique?
Can I also add to that? Like, how did you think it was meant to get done? Like maybe like you're new to the process, so like you don't know how
Good
to
question.
implement it compared to how you actually get it
Yeah,
done.
good question.
Just for people, if anyone wants to.
Good question.
so I guess it standing out of or being unique never just. I don't know. It was never. I hope that doesn't sound arrogant. It was just never just a thought in my mind. Oh, I was just trying to write my story. That was it. Um, I guess in my subconscious, I knew that it was something different, even though I had all these different inspirations. But I don't know. I never worried about it being unique. I was nervous, about putting it out there. As a writer, I tell people all the time that when you letting someone see your writing, especially like if you're doing like fictional writing, like that's me at my most vulnerable point, and so for me to let you see that, like you're getting the purest form of it, and so for somebody to say that, oh, I don't like your writing or it's garbage, you're rejecting me, and so it was terrifying to take God Punch and actually let people read it because I don't know if they're gonna say, oh, this is garbage, or oh, scrap this idea, just come back later. So that was really the most terrifying part.
Yeah.
Now, what was your question, bro? I'm sorry.
Oh, it was like your initial idea before like implementing it, like putting paper to pen and actually putting it out there for the people. How did you think it was done? Because if you've not done it before, how did you think people were around doing it compared to how it actually is done? Just in case people have this idea and want to do it, so then have chance to go around it.
I always assume that you kind of have to know somebody who knew somebody. Like you at least have to have a foot in the door in the industry to kind of get yourself greenlit or to get that that big audience or that big push. Like a lot of people are trying to get. Um, I knew that I wasn't blessed with that, and so I got it out the mud and I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do it the best way that I know how." And even to this day, I'm still feeling, I'm feeling it out. Like, I've met some great friends who are also aspiring mangaka, and we just kind of chit chat and pick each other's brains about our processes. And so, I adopt some of the things that they do, they adopt some of the things that I do. So even now, it's still, trying to figure out, like, okay, we don't know anyone in Shonen. We don't know anyone personally in Viz Media. We don't know anyone who could pitch this idea to an editor for us. So, we're just gonna, we're gonna wing it. And it's been working for us so far. It takes a little bit of faith and a little bit of perseverance.
I got a question for both of you. Because the product's out there, as they say, and you obviously have comments from people who love it, people hate it, and people in the fence, just like how it should be. Is there any comments or anyone coming up to you saying that, oh, I like this bit, oh, I wonder what's going to happen, oh, Percy should do this, something should happen, that kind of, like, obviously you have your initial idea of how you want the story to go, but are there just tiny piece of influences that kind of like make you think, let me add this, or let me change this, actually something that's good that I want to change from the initial idea? Basically, have you gone, not, I wouldn't say astray, but have you like added elements throughout like the years that you didn't initially plan on adding?
Hey, you want to go first, or you want me to take it?
Yeah, even
Sure, I'll go
with
first.
even with the drawings and
Okay.
stuff like that. So
Yeah.
like you might read it, have like a character design in your head and how you want someone to look, but then you might think about something or look at something or read a comment and you might think, oh, this would actually work better.
I don't know if I necessarily get that from comments, from people that have commented on our series, but I'm definitely the type of person that will take inspiration like from the smallest things and will turn them into like something ridiculous. Patrick will tell you that, and this is also related to GodPunch. I'll go into that in a sec, but like Patrick will tell you that the whole inspiration for our second series, Blade Titans, that'll be coming out, came from a random ass idea that I had just while I was. I don't even know what I was thinking about. Like, I think I was just on some shit, like just thinking about stuff. You know how you just absent-minded, thinking about random ideas. I had a random ass idea.
You can look at kind of a pack of pasta and get inspired.
Yeah.
Damn, this pasta is spinning in a spiral. Now this person has a tornado attack. Like that.
No, that's probably how they make Blades.
Like literally,
just like
the smallest things. Like, shoot. Yeah. I mean, like it inspiration just comes from anywhere. So it doesn't have, like I was said, it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody saying anything. I may just look at something that happened, or I'll be watching a movie and be like, "Ah, that's cool. Whatever that character just did is cool." Or you'll have a concept that comes out of nowhere, like you'll just have a random thought, like, "What if this could do this?" You know, and an entire series becomes built off of that idea. That's how my mind thinks. And like even have we talked about our third series, Patrick? Our gag?
No, we talking